Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday, guys. Welcome to Reflection Friday, this week's Reflection Friday. And so this week I am going to talk about potential. Now what is potential, right? Potential is basically possibility, right? It's opportunity not yet obtained, right? Or things not yet reachable or obtainable, but very accessible, depending on what, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So what is it that makes someone, that allows someone to have potential and versus reach potential, like actually reach the potential that they have? And so you hear it a lot of the time, oh my God, I see so much potential. You have so much potential. There's so much potential for this, or there's so much potential for that. Well, what is the difference? What is that in between that turns that potential into reality, right? And so when I think about it, I don't see potential as like a path or necessarily a journey, like that you walk straight down. For me, potential is more like a ladder, where there's different levels. You take one step and then you take the next step. And then once you take that step, there's another step to take in order for you to reach that potential. I feel like it's an upward motion or movement that takes place in order for you to reach potential, right? You have to reach it. You have to grab it and go upwards in order to get potential, as opposed to walking down a path or taking a journey, right? And so there are three things that I think are key to actually reaching your potential as opposed to having it. And so the first thing is faith. You have to first be able to see what you're looking to obtain. And faith really is us believing in things that we don't physically have, that have not materialized themselves. But we know that there is the possibility. We know that there is the potential. We know that there is the ability to have that thing. We believe, right? Faith is believing that can take place. And so number one, we need to have faith, because if we don't have faith, we're not going to be able to do step two. And step two is do the work required. Put in the work. Do the things that are required of you to actually obtain that. And so when I think about that, I'll talk about myself and my Tisha Talks company or brand that I'm promoting. It requires me to be extroverted. It requires me to engage in conversation with people, to do public speaking, to call people, to network, to see if I can get different venues, or if I can get people to partner with me and different things. It requires me to a certain degree, be extroverted. And by nature, I'm an introverted person. I call myself introverted with extroverted tendencies. And all that really means is that when I need to be extroverted, when I need to turn that on, when I need to work in that capacity, I pull it together and I turn it on. But it's not something natural or it's not something comfortable. It's something that I've practiced. It's something that I work at and that I do. I have to get my mind together, get my mind right, and I have to say, okay, you know what? You need to do this today. You need to make this phone call. You need to make this video. You need to have this conversation with this person. You need to engage. You need to be engaging, right? And by nature, I'd rather disengage. Like, I'm okay with that. But in order to reach the potential, in order to go up that ladder, to get from step one to step two, it requires me to be engaging, even though that's not me by nature, right? So we have to be willing to do the things that may be uncomfortable, that may not be natural to us or normal to us or in our norms. We have to be willing to do that, because we need to go to level 3 or level 4 or level 5, and it requires that engagement on level 2. And it may require some more engagement when we get to level 5. It just may be a different type of engagement, right? And so the first thing is faith, is believing that you can have it. The second thing is putting in the work, and the third thing is consistency. Now, if I'm honest, I hate saying if I'm honest. I'll just say it. I don't like I said before, I don't like really having to engage all the time. I'm not the most extroverted person. My husband is very social. That comes natural to him. He loves to engage and do those things. I like to just come in a room and just sit down and observe and try to figure stuff out. But I can't always do that. I need to be engaging. And every day, I'm not going to say I'm a rock star at it. Every day, I'm not as successful. There's some days I need to make phone calls about solidifying dates or solidifying venues, and I just sometimes can't build myself up to having those conversations. And for whatever reason, because I don't necessarily want people to turn me down or people to say, oh, that's not possible, and then I got to go back to the drawing board and figure out another way, so those are all emotions and feelings and things that I deal with that make me more comfortable in a disengaged state. But I can't be disengaged if I want to reach my potential. I can't. And so the key to that is being consistent. And so I have to consistently step out. I have to consistently step out in faith, believing that I can have those things and lining it up with action, which is the work, and do it continuously, whether I feel like it or not, whether I was successful the day before or not. Maybe I didn't pick up the phone, but I can't stay at step 2 not picking up the phone, or I will never get to step 3, right? And so, to me, the difference between people who actually reach their potential and people who have potential is their willingness to do those 3 things. Is their willingness to first believe that they can obtain it, believe that it's for them, and then secondly, their willingness to do the work, to do things that may not be comfortable for them, to do things that may not be norm, and to do things that may require just some effort. And then not some effort, it's actually going to require a lot of effort, because you got to keep moving up the ladder, right? And then number 3, consistency. People who are willing to be consistent, even on those days when they don't feel like doing it, and maybe they didn't do it that day. Maybe I didn't do it yesterday because I just ain't feel like it. But I'm determined this next day not to stay at step 2. So therefore, I'm going to get up and do it today. And that's what consistency is about. Every day doesn't have to be a rock star moment. We're human. We're not always going to knock it out the box every time we do it. We're not always going to get up and do it. But the important thing is that we get up again, and that we stay consistent in our faith and in our ability to reach that potential and to get to that place, right? Always looking upward, always looking forward. And so, guys, that is my Reflection Friday for this week. I hope that you had a great week. I hope that you have a great weekend. And I will speak to you next Friday. But remember, as always, when passion meets purpose, great things happen. And I will talk to you later.